Hi, I'm Robi, also known as ambroscrochet somewhere on the internet, and today I'm going to show you how to crochet these Yoshi amigurumi, who is inspired by the character from Nintendo, from Super Mario. And obviously the character is not mine, so the design is not mine. I'm not affiliated to Nintendo in any way. Yeah, I think that's it for the disclaimer. And yeah, I'm gonna show you how to make this very cute Yoshi, if I do say so myself. So let's get to it. So here's what we'll need: some yarn in a few colors. Since I'm going to be making green Yoshi, I'm going to be using green, orange, yellow and white, but as usual you can pick whatever colors you like. A crochet hook to match your yarn, so it's going to be a 3mm in my case. We're also going to need scissors, pins, tapestry needle or just needle and thread, black and white felt, hot glue or needle and thread, and then some toy stuffing. These are the stitches we will be using: magic ring, single crochet increase, single crochet decrease, chain stitch, and we will be working in back loops only. Okay, so first of all we're going to be making the eyes, so get the color that you're using for the body, and as per usual we're going to start with the magic ring. And then if I can get myself in frame maybe. Okay, and then round one is going to be 6 single crochets into the magic ring. Okay, and then round 2 is going to be 1 single crochet and then 1 increase, repeated 3 times. So at the end we're going to have 9 single crochets, and I will see you in about a second when I have those done. Okay, so once round 2 is done, we move on to round 3, which is going to be 2 single crochets and then 1 increase, repeated again 3 times. So at the end we're going to have 12 single crochets, and I will see you when I have those done. So once round 3 is done, we can move on to round 4, which is just going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch. So I'll see you when I have those done. So at the end of round 4 we will still have 12 single crochets, and I'll see you when I have those done. Okay, so once we have round 4 done, what you have to do is we have to make 2 of these. Okay, so I have the first one already made, and when you make the first one you want to fasten off and then cut the yarn, leaving just a little bit of a tail so that you can sew anything that doesn't look right a little bit. So when you make the second one, you don't want to cut the yarn, you don't fasten off, because we now have to join the 2 tops. So these are going to be the tops of the eyes and we have to join them. So in order to do that, what you want to do, you still have the loop from the last single crochet that you've made on your crochet hook. So we're going to take the first top that we made, and you want to insert your crochet hook into the single crochet that's right next to the stitch where you fastened off. So this is where I fastened off, so I'm going to insert my crochet hook here. Okay, and then I'm just going to, as usual, yarn over, pull through, and just work a single crochet as I normally would. So we've joined with 1 stitch, and now we're going to make 1 single crochet into each of the next 11 single crochets on the first top of the eye that we made. Okay, so once that is done, once you have 11 single crochets or 12 single crochets, so 1 single crochet into each of the single crochets that you had on the last round of the first top of the eye, we're going to go back to the second one that we made. So you want to insert your crochet hook into the single crochet, so the first 3 single crochet that you have, which is going to be the single crochet right next to the last single crochet where you worked the single crochet into the last round. Okay, so it's going to be the first 3 single crochet that you have on the other top of the eye, and you're going to do the exact same thing that you did before. So insert your crochet hook, yarn over, pull through, and then again yarn over and pull through, so just a regular single crochet, and then again you make 1 single crochet in each of the next 11 single crochets. Okay, so this was technically round 5, so now we can move on to round 6. We're just going to keep working as if this were just one piece, which is actually now just one piece. So we're going to be making round 6, which is going to be 3 single crochets and then 1 increase. Okay, repeated as usual 6 times, so at the end we're going to have 30 single crochets, so this is 3 and then 1 increase. So we're going to have 30 single crochets, and I'll see you when I have those done. Okay, so now that round 6 is done, you want to make sure that you bring that tail that we left on the outside, because as you can see when we joined, we have a little bit of a hole here, which I'm going to be closing using that tail, so make sure that you bring it to the outside so it's going to be a little bit easier. Okay, so now that round 6 is done, we can move on to rounds 7 and 8, because the next 2 rounds are just going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch. So at the end of round 7 and at the end of round 8, we will still have 30 single crochets, and I'll see you when I have those done. Okay, so once rounds 7 and 8 are done, we move on to round 9, which is going to be 3 single crochets and then 1 decrease, repeated 6 times, so at the end we're going to have 24 single crochets, and I will see you when I have those done. Okay, so once round 9 is done, we're just going to fasten off, because that was the last round, and we're going to leave a little bit of a tail for sewing. Okay, so these are the eyes done. Okay, so next we're going to work on the head, so you want to use your body color again, and this time we're going to start with 11 chain stitches. Okay, so now starting from the second chain from the hook, we're going to be making 1 single crochet in each of the next 9 chains. Okay, and once you reach the last chain, in that last chain you want to make 3 single crochets. So by making those 3 single crochets, what happens is now we are kind of forced to work on the other side of the chain, which is what we want. So you want to turn your work, and now we're going to start working on the other side of the chain. Specifically, we're going to make 1 single crochet in each of the next 8 chains. Okay, and then in the last chain we are going to make 2 single crochets. So we have 3 single crochets in the first chain and 3 single crochets in the last chain, and 1 single crochet in each of the 8 single crochets in between on both sides, if that helps. If it doesn't, just ignore everything I've just said. So now we move on to round 2. And round 2 is going to start with an increase, so we are going to make 1 increase into the first single crochet, and then we are going to make 1 single crochet in each of the next 8 single crochets, okay, and then we're going to make 1 increase into the next single crochet, and then 1 single crochet into the next single crochet, and then 1 increase into the next single crochet, and then again 1 single crochet in each of the next 8 single crochets, and then we are going to make 1 increase into the next single crochet, and we are going to end round 2 by making 1 single crochet into the next single crochet. So if you're counting, we have 26 single crochets in round 2, and now we move on to round 3, which is going to start with 1 single crochet. So 1 single crochet into the next single crochet, and then 1 increase in the next single crochet, And then we have 1 single crochet in each of the next 9 single crochets. Then we have 1 increase in the next single crochet, and then we have 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 single crochets. And then we have 1 increase in the next single crochet, and then we have 1 single crochet in each of the next 9 single crochets. And then we have 1 increase in the next single crochet, and we close round 3 by making 1 single crochet in the next single crochet. Okay, and then we move on to round 4, which is going to start with 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 single crochets. Then we have 1 increase, and then we have 1 single crochet in each of the next 10 single crochets. Okay, and then we have 1 increase in the next single crochet. Then we have 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 single crochets. Then we have 1 increase in the next single crochet. And then we have 1 single crochet in each of the next 10 single crochets. And then we are going to make 1 increase in the next single crochet, and then 1 single crochet in the next single crochet. Okay, now we begin round 5, which is going to begin with 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 single crochets. Then we have 1 increase in the next single crochet. Then we have 1 single crochet in each of the next 11 single crochets. Okay, and then we have 1 increase in the next single crochet, and then we have 1 single crochet in each of the next 4 single crochets. And then we have 1 increase in the next single crochet, and then, as you might imagine, we have 1 single crochet in each of the next 11 single crochets. Okay, and then we have 1 increase in the next single crochet, and then we have 1 single crochet in the next single crochet, and that's round 5 done. So round 6 is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch, which means that at the end of round 6 we will still have 38 single crochets, and I'll see you when I have those done. Okay, so once round 6 is done, we move on to round 7, which is going to be 1 single crochet in each of the next 4 single crochets. Then 1 increase in the next single crochet, and then 1 single crochet in each of the next 12 single crochets. Then we have 1 increase in the next single crochet. Then we have 1 single crochet in each of the next 5 single crochets. Then we have 1 increase in the next single crochet, and then we have 1 single crochet in each of the next 12 single crochets. And then we have 1 increase in the next stitch, and then we have 1 single crochet in the next single crochet. Okay, and that's round 7 done. So round 7 we have 42 single crochets in total. So round 8 is going to be 6 single crochets and then 1 increase repeated 6 times, so that's the usual, and that means that at the end we're going to have 48 single crochets, and I will see you when I have those done. Okay, so once round 8 is done, the next few rounds we are going to alternate between the color of the body and the white. So we are going to switch to white yarn at the beginning of round 9, and rounds 9 and 10 are going to be the same. So we are going to make 1 single crochet in each of the next 26 single crochets in white. Okay, so once those 26 single crochets are done, you want to switch back to the color of the body, and we're going to be making 1 single crochet in each of the next 22 single crochets, so the remaining single crochets to close the round in the color of the body. Okay, so that's round 9 done, and round 10 is going to be exactly the same, so I'll see you when I have that done. Okay, so rounds 9 and 10 are done, so now we move on to round 11, and we are going to switch to the white yarn. Okay, and using the white yarn we are going to make 6 single crochets and then 1 decrease repeated 3 times. Okay, so once you have the 6 single crochets and 1 decrease repeated 3 times, we are going to make 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 single crochets, and then we are going to switch back to the color of the body, which is green in my case. Sorry, I just leave all the cutting to the end and then it's a bit of a mess. So back to the color of the body, and we are going to make 1 single crochet in each of the next 4 single crochets. So because we've already made 2 single crochets in white, basically we have to finish that decrease, if that makes sense, that section with the decrease. So 4 single crochets and then 1 decrease, and then 6 single crochets and 1 decrease repeated twice, and that's going to close the round. Okay, so this is round 11 done, so now we can move on to round 12. So round 12 is going to be, I'm not going to show you, so hopefully it's quite clear, because it's just going to be 1 single crochet in each of the next 23 single crochets in white, and then you switch to the color of the body, 1 single crochet in each of the remaining 19 single crochets. Okay, so the first 23 single crochets are going to be in white, and the remaining 19 single crochets are going to be in the color of the body. So I'll see you when I have those done. Okay, so now that round 12 is done, we move on to round 13, and we are going to start by switching back to the white yarn. Okay, so in white we are going to make 5 single crochets and then 1 decrease repeated 3 times like we did in the previous round. Okay, so once those are done, we are going to make 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 single crochets, and then we are going to switch back to the green, or the color of the body, so the green for me. Okay, so first we have to close that decrease section that we've begun, so we are going to make 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 single crochets. Then we are going to make 1 decrease, and then we are going to close the round by making 5 single crochets and 1 decrease repeated twice. So that's going to finish round 13. Okay, so once round 30 is done, we now have 36 single crochets, so we move on to round 14, which again I'm not going to show you, hopefully it's clear enough. So we have to make the first 20 single crochets in white and the remaining 16 single crochets in the color of the body. Okay, so I'll see you when I have those done. Okay, so once round 14 is done, we move on to round 15. And as for the last round, we are going to switch back to the white yarn. And we are going to start by making 4 single crochets and then 1 decrease 3 times. So as we did in the last few rounds, just 3 times. Okay, and once that is done, we have 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 single crochets, and then, as you might have guessed, we have to switch back to the green yarn, or the color of the body. Okay, and now we have to make 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 single crochets, and then we have to make 1 decrease, and then we have to finish the round by making 4 single crochets and 1 decrease repeated twice. Okay, so this is round 15 done. Round 16 once again is going to be the first 17 single crochets are going to be in white, and then the remaining 13 single crochets are going to be in the color of the body. So in my case, they're going to be green. Okay, so I'll see you when I have those done. Okay, so once round 16 is done, we can move on to round 17. I know it's a little bit of a pain to switch colors this often, but we're almost done, I promise. So we have to go back to the white, and we have to make 3 single crochets and 1 decrease repeated 3 times. Okay, and then 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 single crochets, and then we go back to the color of the body. Okay, and now we have to make 1 single crochet, that was challenging. So 1 single crochet and then 1 decrease, and then we have to make 3 single crochets and 1 decrease repeated twice. Okay, so this is round 17 done. Before we move on to round 18, we are going to stuff the head a little bit. So I don't like to stuff pieces too much if I still have to work on them, because I find that then when you keep decreasing, the decreases kind of like look worse. So my advice is don't stuff it too much. You can still add stuffing before the very last round, so don't stuff it too much right now, just enough that you don't have to stuff it at the end, and then that ends up kind of pulling on the stitches. So I'll be back with the head stuffed, but not too stuffed. Okay, so now we have round 18, and from now on just keep stuffing as you kind of see fit. So we have round 18, go back to the white yarn, we have 2 single crochets and then 1 decrease repeated 3 times. Okay, and once that is done, we have 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 single crochets, and then we have to go back to the color of the body, so that's going to be the green for me. So you are just going to decrease, so that's going to be the first in the new color, is going to be the decrease. And then we have 2 single crochets and 1 decrease repeated twice, and that's going to finish the round. Okay, so once round 18 is done, we move on to round 19. Please don't judge me as you see me crochet these last few rounds, because it just gets more difficult. I'm not used to crocheting while sitting up, which is probably not great, but that's just how we roll. So round 19, go back to the white yarn. This is the last time I'm gonna have you change colors, I promise. And then we have to make 1 single crochet and then 1 decrease repeated 3 times. And then we are going to make 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 single crochets. And I know technically you'd need to decrease in the middle of it, but because I wanted to avoid decreasing during the color change, because that would have been unnecessarily complicated, I decided to do it like this. So cut the yarn, go back to the color of the body. So we are going to decrease twice. Okay, sorry, this is just too complicated. I don't know how to do this while sitting up properly. So we're going to finish by making 1 single crochet and then 1 decrease. Okay, finally. So last round is just going to be 6 decreases. Okay, so we're going to have 6 single crochets. Last round, I'll see you when it's done. Stuff the head if you need to. Okay, and now we are just going to fasten off, and we only need to leave a little bit of a tail just to finish up the last round if you want to, so not much. Okay, and this is the head done. Okay, next we're going to work on the cheeks, so I'm going to be using white yarn, and you want to start with a magic ring as per usual, and then we have round 1, which is going to be 6 single crochets into the magic ring. So once round 1 is done, we move on to round 2, which is just 1 increase in each single crochet, so 6 increases in total. So at the end we're going to have 12 single crochets, and I'll see you when I have those done. Okay, and once round 2 is done, we move on to round 3, which is 1 single crochet and then 1 increase, repeated 6 times. So at the end we're going to have 18 single crochets, and I will see you when I have those done. Okay, and once we are done with round 3, we move on to round 4, which is going to be 2 single crochets and then 1 increase, repeated as usual 6 times. So at the end we're going to have 24 single crochets, and I'll see you when I have those done. Okay, and once round 4 is done, we move on to round 5, which is just going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch. So at the end of round 5, we will still have 24 single crochets, and I'll see you when I have those done. Okay, so once round 5 is done, you are going to fasten off, and then we're going to cut the yarn, leaving a little bit of a tail to sew, and you want to make 2 cheeks.